Greetings. Before I get too deep into this, I always seem to forget to ask this, and so I need to do it. If you are enjoying any of these videos, whether it's the ones I'm doing right now on blogging or anything else, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you want notifications, click that little bell thing that's over there, and then you will get notifications. I don't actually know how you'll get them because I get them through email, and I also get them on my phone, and I also get them on my tablet. So I seem to be getting them everywhere whenever I, click that little bell. But that's okay. I don't necessarily mind that. And I hope you don't either. As we try to grow the channel and try to be informative and try to have some fun, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Now, last time I covered 4 more tips after the first video. I told you in that last video what they were in the first one, so in this one I'm going to tell you what I touched upon last time in case you want to go back and check that one out. And then today I'm going to give you 5 more tips. So last time I covered the concept of free versus self-hosted. I talked about what kind of blog platform you want to use. Do you want to use WordPress or Joomla, or is there something else out there I don't know about? How to handle titles. Why are you creating titles? How are you creating them? What is your purpose in creating the titles that you do? And I talked about the style of writing, whether you're writing tutorials or whether you're trying to be informational, educational, entertaining, SEO, whatever. So we talked about that last time. Today, I'm going to actually start with SEO because it needs to be talked about. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and you can either do it with individual words or keyword phrases. And that's a big deal because it depends on what type of thing you're doing. For instance, if you're doing a tutorial or you're trying to teach something, then you want to put something out there that is going to be what they call evergreen, which basically says that maybe 3-4 years later, it's still quality stuff and it can still be used. Actually, even if it's just a year, if there's a WordPress update that everyone doesn't know about, as far as how to fix certain things, then you create some content that maybe it's good for a year. But if it's good content, then Google will rank you for that year and you'll be high, and you may have reasons for that. So that's really the thing about SEO. It's trying to decide, okay, how do I make sure that I get the keywords in there? How do I know that the content I'm writing is going to match up with the keywords that I want found? It's not stuffing. You need to know this. If your keyword happens to be Jimmy Choo shoes and you say that 35, 40 times in a video or on a blog post or whatever, you know what? They just ain't gonna like it. Just so you know, Google owns YouTube if you didn't know that already. So if you're trying to keyword stuff, they're just not going to put you out there at all. And you could get banned, which is a horrible thing. Don't do it. I'm just letting you know. So this is the thing about SEO, and that's where we go back to the titles. When I talked about titles last time, and I said something about, me sometimes being more of a regular writer than a blogger, because I've been writing a heck of a lot longer than blogging, I don't always have a title that matches up with my keywords. But if I'm writing something that's like a tutorial or educational, then I do the step-by-step thing. So this ties in to what I talked about last time with titles. Next thing, however, when we're going to talk SEO, and this is a big topic, it's been out there forever, is blog post length. And I'm one of those people who basically has one theme in mind. Write as much as you need to write and then stop. And that's it. And I say that as someone who has written some really long posts. I mean, the longest post I ever wrote was about 5,900 words. I actually wrote 2. I wrote one that was 5,700, and then I broke it up into 2 different articles. And part of me wants to kick myself for that because I think it would have done fine as just one really long article. But that wasn't common back when I initially wrote that post. Now it is common to basically have posts. I mean, you get someone like Neil Patel, he'll have 10 to 13,000 words in an article. Oh my God. Of course, Neil also has like 20 or 30 people working for him, so he can afford to put all that stuff together. The rest of us, that may be a little tight unless you're only writing 1 article a month, which is not bad, by the way, if you're writing something that big. And here's the thing about blog post length, beyond the fact of just writing what you need to and being done. If you're looking for your best SEO, search engine optimization, it works better to have longer posts. It just does. You're putting a lot into it. the search engines really love long posts. They love the long tail keywords. That's what they call it when it's, like a phrase or whatever. They love that stuff. And they will rank those articles better, and they will rank them for a good long time. However, every once in a while, there's just a short post, and it may work out for your audience. For instance, I just found out that Britney Spears was in a mental facility. I had no clue. I'd seen some pictures of Britney like a few months ago, and Britney seemed to be doing well. And next thing you know, she's in a mental facility. Now, if you were the person breaking that, and you had that kind of audience, because that's what you did, then you could probably get away with a 200-300 word article on that, and you're going to explode because you're first. But you know what? 3 or 4 months down the line, that article means nothing. It doesn't help you anymore. It's just like, okay, you had a big bounce, and it worked out well at that time, and then it's forgotten. No one cares anymore. I actually wrote an article like that back in like 2010 or 2011. There was this one thing that everyone was using online that I had tried. I really didn't like it. And then I found out from the guy himself that he was shutting it down. And so I wrote a very short piece. I don't even think it was 200 words, and it exploded. It was one of my most popular articles of that year. But it exploded, and then within a few months, gone. Meant nothing to anyone. So that's something really to think about when you're talking about blog post length. Personally, I'm one of those people where if you're writing a tutorial, don't leave stuff out just to try to be brief. I hate that. I hate trying to learn something and then getting to a point saying, wait, what do I do next? And I'm reading something and they didn't tell you that. That irks the heck out of me. So you can bet if I'm writing a tutorial, I'm telling you every single step and you're not going to miss anything. That's what I do. Next, we're going to talk about editing. Editing is one of those things that just sticks in my craw. One of these years, I'm going to look up what craw is and hope it's not a really bad thing. But here's the thing about editing. If you're reading an article and every other sentence has a misspelling or the language isn't smooth, then it's irksome and you pretty much want to stop. I speed read. I learned speed reading in 8th grade, believe it or not. So I've sped read for a good long time. And if you see something like that, it just disturbs the force. Yeah, okay, it's a Star Wars reference. Just go with me. It really messes me up. And once I'm messed up, you know what? I don't care what you wrote. I will go check someone else out and see if they wrote something better. Misspellings should be easy. When you're writing a blog post in every platform I've ever seen, you usually see these red squiggly lines, or maybe they're blue where you are. Mine are all red. And it tells you, hey, this is misspelled. Fix it. Now, every once in a while, you're writing something and maybe you have a word like had that you wanted to write and instead you wrote has. Those kind of things are a little harder to find unless you're one of those people who, I do this with long articles, where I will read it out loud to myself. And if it sounds odd, I say, okay, let me take another look at that. But misspellings, you get people's names wrong. If you really need to edit yourself. And it helps you a lot more than it helps search engines. Trust me. It helps you. It helps your readers. It shows that you honor their commitment to come and read your stuff. That's my point of view. Next, I want to talk about images. Images didn't used to be a thing when I first started. Every once in a while, if you were talking about something specific and you had a picture of it, then you could put that picture up there. But back then, you didn't have companies like Getty Images coming after you because you happen to use an article that they had copywritten. Use a picture. They didn't care. Now they do because a lot more people are putting images in it. Here's the thing about an image. If you love books and you love to have an imagination, you don't necessarily need images because you're just seeing them in your mind. They give a description of what someone looks like, how they're dressed, what they may smell like, whatever. You can see it in your own mind. In blog posts, it doesn't necessarily work the same way because you're not necessarily writing stories. So a visual helps, especially if you're writing a long post. A lot of images help. I try to do something where every 500 words or so, extra 500 words or so, I like to have an image. If I write an article that's about 800 words, maybe just one image. If it's over 1,000, there's going to be a second image in there. And, I move them around. One of the questions that people ask, however, because I was one of those people early on, is I write about blogging. There's not a lot of images about blogging. What do I do? You know what? You pick a pretty image. Maybe you've got pictures and you can use some of your pictures. They look good. and maybe you can just write a caption underneath it or put it in what they call the alt tags or alt description, so that, you know, it helps you with SEO once again to get that seen. Or you can go to sites like Pixabay, Pixabay. They offer free images. All they ask is that you give attribution to the artist, although you don't have to, but I always do. And every once in a while, you know what? If I've realized that I have used a lot of images from the same person, I donate a little something. Little $15, $20, even $10. You donate something. They're not going to get rich off of it. You don't have to do it, but it's a nice thing to do. And you will find images that come up based on your keyword. Most of the time, I'll tell you the truth, I've had some topics I've written on, I don't get anything, then I come back to my stuff. One of the other things you need to watch out for images, however, is how heavy they are. And that sounds stupid until you realize that, let's see, how do you say this? Mobile speed has become a big deal. And even your website speed is a big deal. And one of the things that slows things up are big images. So what you need to do is you need to crop an image down somehow. Now, you can actually crop it, but then you may lose a lot of whatever the image is. Or if you have a photo editing program, you can actually reduce it. So like if you have an image that's like 1500 by 1500 pixels, because you need to be able to vary it by pixels, then you need to edit that thing at least down to 600 by 600 or whatever, something like that. Or if you're using WordPress, after you've done that, you use a plugin called WP Smush. It's free, and you get your image and you run it through that, and then it'll reduce it even further. It makes your blog post move faster, and using something like that won't mess up the quality of the image. Yeah, if you're taking one of those big images that was 3 megabytes, Smush ain't gonna help. It's just not. It doesn't work on images bigger than a meg, just so you know. That's images. The last thing I want to talk about is internal links and backlinks. You've probably heard something more about backlinks than internal links. In essence, what it helps you to do is, on one level, internal links helps you to keep people on your site. So if I'm writing about blog writing and I've written other articles, I can actually go back to some of those other articles and link them within the article. And then if someone likes what they're reading and they come across this link, they may say, hey, let me go check this out. And then they may go check that out. The longer you keep people on your site, the more stuff they look at, and the better your site ranks with all the search engines and all the people who analyze websites. It's just always a very helpful thing. And you're also helping people because now you've addressed something somewhere else. You're sending them to that. They can read that. I don't do it as often as I should. Usually I'll put maybe one in, maybe a second one. But for a while there, I was doing it a lot. But like I said, I write multiple blogs and I have 2 YouTube channels. So I need to, think about that more often, but it works really well. Backlinks are a different animal. In the way I'm talking about it with your own blogging, say that you read an article somewhere and you're writing an article and you're saying, I'm going to reference that. You can add that into your post. It doesn't have to be something where you're telling everybody you're doing it, but it helps them and it helps you because it brings context to whatever it is you're writing about. Now, on the other side, you will have a lot of the SEO people who say, well, you want to try to get backlinks on other people's blogs to come back to you. Well, yes, that's also true. However, it's better for you to go ahead and add a link to someone else's site if you're using their stuff, because what invariably happens is maybe 25 to 30% of those people, okay, it sounds like a made-up number, but you know what, these are my figures. What you will find is that those folks may find out that you have linked to them, and they will look at your stuff, and if they like it, they will link back to you, and then you've got your organic backlink. You haven't had to pay them any money. You didn't have to ask them for it. And how do you do that? When you're promoting, and we'll talk about promoting later on. I got 2 more videos coming on blogging. But when you're doing promotions, if you link back to someone, you put their Twitter handle in the thing that you're posting so that if they're on Twitter, they will see it. They will see their thing there. And if you've got them on there, they're like, let me go check that out. Let's see how so-and-so used me. They may comment on your blog, and then they just may mention it. They may help to share it. It's all good. Anyway, that's 5 more blogging tips. That's 13 now. Now, I have to think about it. Am I going to go up to 6 on the next one? Or am I going to go back down to 4? Will I stick with 5? You know what? Y'all have to come back and find out. So, this is now the 3rd one on blogging. I got 2 more. So, I've done public speaking. I'm doing blogging right now. What else y'all got that you'd like me to talk about? Let me know. My name is Mitch Mitchell. I hope you subscribed. I hope you hit that bell. I will see you next time.